Hi traders, this is Thor Rafferty with DexTrader.com. That's Dex, D-E-X, Trader.com. Today we're going to build on what we have done in a previous video. We're going to start creating some basic strategies. This is where you begin to really define your trading. It's probably the most powerful tool on Ninja 8. So I'm going to get started right away. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open a chart. I'm going to just to review. I'm going to create a new chart. I'm going to select the chart and I'll just use Aussie Japanese yen. For my purposes, I'm going to change the range to 3, whatever you normally do. I want a few days of data. I'm going to put 30 in here. So it's not too large, but works okay. And then I'm going to click OK, and it will open that chart. And I'm going to get the control panel out of the way here for a few minutes because we don't need that just this minute. There's our chart. Now we want to load our template that we created. The template is that we want to load is our Dex FOREX template. Just double click on it and there's our template. We have our dynamic support and resistance. That's this red, yellow, and blue line. We have our Dex fast trend, the teal line, and our Dex slow trend, which is this brown line. And again, you can change the characteristics on that. I'm not going to go into that today. It's pretty straightforward. I want to get right into creating a strategy. So we're going to go back to control panel here, and under new, we're going to go down all the way to the bottom to strategy builder. All right, and that'll open up this box here. And again, we can get rid of control panel now because we're not going to use that for a while. And the default is new strategy. But if you've already created strategies, and I've got a lot of old test strategies here, some that I want to keep, some that I don't care about anymore. We can actually, one thing I want to point out, this is where you remove a strategy. It's the only place that I've found that you can get rid of a strategy. So if you don't want this strategy, just click remove, and it's going to give you a second chance and say yes, and we'll get rid of that. So I just wanted to point that out. That's how you get rid of a strategy you no longer need. So in our case, we're going to do a new strategy. We're going to click next, and we're going to give it a name. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to build on it, I'm going to call it Dex FOREX Strategy. You can only use letters and numbers with no spaces when you create a title like that. Otherwise it'll reject it and you'll puzzle for hours why the heck it didn't work. So once we've given it a name, we're going to click next. Now on bar close is probably where you want to use it, but you can do it on ticks, you can do it on price change, depends on your computer. On bar close is generally where you want it, okay? Otherwise it's going to put indicators just all over the place and use a lot of memory. So let's stay with on bar close, and you can also check other properties here. Entries per direction, I would always leave that as 1. You can change that later. Exit on session close, leave that checked. You can uncheck it later. Fill limits, orders on touch, and we want to check that yes. And the reason we want that checked yes is when you're back testing, you want it to count an order that just touched your limit, just touched the price point. Normally it goes through the price point. If that's not checked, it goes through the price point before it fills. So, but only in back testing. So we want that fill limit orders on touch. Okay, so we've got this screen set up. I'm going pretty quick, but you can rewind and play it over again. So next, this is where we add some variables. Okay, if you wanted to add an additional instrument, so right now we're looking at the Aussie dollar, Japanese yen. If you wanted to make comparisons between the Aussie dollar, Japanese yen, and the US dollar, Japanese yen, you could add that here. I'm going to skip that. I rarely do that. So I'm just going to leave this screen, additional data screen, blank and go to the next screen. Now this is where you set your inputs and your variables. Your inputs are up here. Inputs are things that you can change later, that the user of the chart can change, or the strategy. These are variables are things that can't be changed. All right, so I'm going to add a few useful inputs. I'm going to click add, and I'm going to give it a name. And the first one is I'm going to call the DEX DSR, the DEX Dynamic Support and Resistance. And the default value on that is 60. Minimum value is 1. Oh, it's an integer. Integer, of course, means a whole number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 60. Those are whole numbers. Okay. String is double is decimal. Okay, you can see it added the decimal. String, you can put a string of words. Time is time. Boolean is true or false. Okay. See, it's telling us the statement's got to be true or false. I just want integer, and I want my integer for 60. Okay. And click OK, and it puts it in here. Next, we want to add our DEX fast trend. It might be nice if I spelled it right. Our DEX fast trend, and the default value for that is 15. Okay. And next we want to add our DEX slow trend. Again, numbers and letters only, and no spaces. And the default value for that is 56. Okay. And some other things you can add. We want to add a take profit. Take profit. And I want to set that default value for 30. Okay, so if I want 30 ticks, that's going to be my default value. All right, you can add a description down here if you want, but it's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to take profit if we get a move of 30 ticks. All right, we're going to add a stop loss. And I'm going to set that for a default value of 20. Okay. And we'll add that. And finally, I'm going to add a trailing stop. Trailing stop, and I'm going to set that at 5. Now these can be variable. You can change them to whatever you want, but and you can also change them later. This allows us to test. By having these in here, we can test them and we can change them. It'll be the inputs are changeable by the user. Okay, so that's why we put them up here and set them up this way. So we're going to click next, and this is where we begin to build our actual strategy. And this is also the major difference between Ninja 7 and Ninja 8. This little box right here is incredibly powerful, and it was not available on Ninja 7. You had to be a programmer. You had to understand how to program it, and it was very, very complicated. So what is this? If all or if any. Okay, are the two conditions. Incredibly powerful. This is a or and statement. So if you know what I mean by that, by and or, if this is set to if all, then all the conditions we list here have to be true before it does something. All right. So for example, condition X has to be greater than condition Y, and condition A has to be greater than condition B. Might be an example of an and statement. Both conditions have to be true. If you have this set this to if any, then either condition would be true. It would be condition A is greater than condition B, or condition X is greater than condition Y. Okay? So this is incredibly powerful. It's not available in 7, so you can create and situations and or situations, and this is where you can really begin to create strategies that'll function for you. So I'm going to make this if all for now, and I'm going to start to build a simple condition. So you come down here and you click add, and I'm going to use an indicator, and I'm going to use our DEX fast trend indicator. Okay, and that puts it down here. I don't want to plot it on the chart because I've already got it on the chart. I prefer to have it plotted in my template rather than using this, because this way if I use a strategy that doesn't have it, I have it on here anyway. So no, we're not going to plot it on chart. We're not going to change the color. We're not going to change anything about it, except we're going to have it there. Now, the middle is your operator, all right? And there are several choices. Crosses above, crosses below, equals, greater, greater and equals, less, less and equals, or not equals. So in this case, I'm going to say crosses above, and I'm going to create the second condition. Okay, come on. Indicator, and this time it's going to be the DEX slow trend. Okay, and I'm going to again leave everything the same because I'm not plotting it on the chart. Okay, so and then just click OK, and you'll see here it crosses above the DEX fast trend, crosses above the DEX slow trend. Okay, now when that happens, it's going to do something. We want it to do something. We don't want to just have a statement there. We want to have it do something. So what I'm going to have it do is, first thing I'm going to have it do is put a little indicator on the chart so I know where it is. So I'm going to click drawing, and I'm going to have it put an up arrow. Okay, and I'm going to change lime green, which I don't like, to dark green. Okay, now this is important, and this is a little obscure. Under tag, we want to have, click set, and you'll see it's given the DEX FOREX Strategy and an up arrow, but we want to add under a new string, and we're going to click set, and under miscellaneous, we're going to click current bar, and OK. So we've added an additional string that basically says current bar. And what that does, it means it will put that arrow at the current bar every time it occurs. If you don't do that, it'll still function, but it will only put the arrow on the most recent occurrence, and it will delete previous occurrence. So you won't be able to go back on your chart and say, oh, it went down here, it went up here, etc. So you have to add that, and it's very important. This is really obscure. I actually had to send them an email and ask them how the heck you do it. I couldn't find it in any instructions. They were very fast getting back to me, and I don't know, maybe everybody and their brother asked this because they came right back to me very quickly. So that's what you have to do. Under tag, click set, and then you have to add an additional string that says current, it's equal to current bar. Click OK, and OK. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, one other thing you have to do, we have to tell it where to put the arrow. Where do we want it put? So we're going to click on the y-axis. That's what that means. And we're going to go to indicator, because we want it near the indicator we're using. And we're going to select the DEX slow trend. Okay, so it'll put it near that indicator. And we're going to come down here and we're going to change the offset. First we're going to change it from arithmetic to ticks. We want it to put it below, because it's an up arrow, so we want to point it below, so we're going to make it -5. And what that'll do is it'll put it 5 ticks below the brown line on this chart. So it'll be right about here somewhere for each occurrence. Okay, so it won't be right on the chart. It gets a little crowded, you may not be able to see it, so you want to offset it a bit. Okay, so we've got our offset, and I'm going to click OK. So what we've got is when the DEX fast trend crosses above the DEX slow trend, it's going to draw an up arrow, and it's going to put it at -5 ticks below the DEX slow trend. Now, I'm going to compile this. In other words, I'm going to convert this statement into code. Okay, so I'm going to click compile, and this will take a second or two. It's usually pretty fast. So we're going to let it compile here. Okay, strategy generated successfully. Hey, it worked. Now, if it had come back, strategy did not generate, then you know you've got a mistake and you have to go back and figure out where you screwed up. So I'm going to click OK and get that out of the way. Now I'm going to move this off my screen, and what I'm going to do, go back to my chart, and I'm going to right-click anywhere on the chart. I'm going to click Strategies, and you can see that we now have our DEX Forex Strategy listed. I'll double click on that, and it puts it down in this box, and then I'm going to highlight that, and you can see it added our variables here: the DEX DSR, fast trend, slow trend, our take profit, our stop loss, our trailing stop. Now these are not active, but we can variable them because they're not active because I didn't create anything for them to be active with. I just did our DEX fast trend and slow trend. All right, so there's a lot of stuff here that I would just leave. Most of this you just want to leave as is. But one thing you need to do is you need to enable it, okay? And also you want to, for Forex, you probably do not want to end on session close. Now, we haven't set the session dates and times, and that's something we'll have to do later. But for Forex trades 24 hours a day, and it's only closed on Friday, from Friday afternoon to Sunday evening Eastern time. So we want our Forex trades to not exit at the end of the session, because otherwise the default values are 4 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to close your trade out, even though only the U.S. markets close. So we want to have that for now. Exit on session close off, and we're going to click OK. And it's going to give us this warning box. Although you have order confirmation enabled, meaning I'm saying I have to confirm the order before it's placed, orders generated by this strategy will be submitted without confirmation. So if you have a live account and you're on live and you've created a strategy that says buy when X happens, it's going to do it, and it's not going to tell you. It's just going to appear on your chart all of a sudden. So understand that. A strategy like this does not give you order confirmation. So we're going to click OK, acknowledge that. And now it's pretty quick, actually. You can see here's our first little green arrow. Wasn't a great trade. You would have lost money on it, but the point of this is, but look at this one. Whoa. Let's say we got in. Here's where it happened. We got in on this candle. It dropped a bit and then exploded all the way up to here. So that was a hell of a good trade. Just a simple little indicator. Okay, so I'm going to pause this a minute, take a little break, and then I will be back in just a minute, and we'll do some more work. All right, so I'm going to pause this a second. All right, I'm back. Take a little break. Getting kind of dry. We've created our first little indicator here. So, it's fairly useful. It made a nice trade. Would have made a nice trade here. This one is kind of failing. So, what we need to do is we need to continue working on this. So, let's go back to our strategy builder. Remember, I did not close that. I just compiled it. So now let's add another set. And again, there's some very powerful things in NinjaTrader 8. So I'm going to add another set. And one of the things that you can do is you can copy. And I could never find a way to do that in 7. I think it's new to 8. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it and just click paste, and there, paste, come on, and there it is. Now, obviously it's the same, so that's useless. So I'm going to edit it. Click edit. And instead of crosses above, I'm going to make this crosses below. Keep everything else the same. Nothing else that needs to be changed. And I'm going to click OK. And now I have a second condition. If all of the statements below are true, when the fast trend crosses below the slow trend, we're going to do something. And in this case, I'm going to add, under drawing, a down arrow down, okay? And I'm going to make it dark red, and I'm going to set my tag. I'm going to add the tag, set miscellaneous, current bar. So again, it puts it on all of the bars every time it occurs. Current bar, okay? And I'm going to tell it where, and I'm going to use again my indicator, my DEX slow trend indicator, okay, and I'm going to change the offset to ticks, and this time I want to place it above the indicator, so I'm going to change that to 5. Positive, just 5. You could say, I guess you can say plus 5. Remember, the other one was -5, so we always put our arrow below the bar. This will put it above the bar, pointing down. Click OK, and OK, and we're going to compile that. Okay, so it's thinking it's writing the code for us, and strategy generated successfully. Okay, so now again, I'm going to just move this out of the way. I'm not going to close it. I'm just going to move it out of the way. And I'm going to go back to my chart, and first thing I'm going to do is go to strategies, and I'm going to remove the old version, which is still running. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to click apply, so it actually removes it from the chart, and then I'm going to add our new strategy, and I'm going to enable it so it actually functions, and I'm going to turn off exit on session close, and click OK. And again, we've got this warning that it's going to send orders to the exchange. Now again, I'm in demo, so there's nothing to worry about. You always do this kind of stuff in demo. And make sure you really, really, really know what you're doing before you start creating strategies that might open positions or close positions for you. So, okay. And again, it'll take a minute to compile. It's actually pretty dang fast. Okay, so here's our green up arrow that we created at first, and we would enter the trade, here, and it's telling us to exit here. A little bit of a profit. This is kind of a nice looking trade here. It occurred right there, and look where it's going, all the way down to here before it gave us an opposite buy signal. So there was some money to be made there. This one's kind of chopping a little bit, probably a break even. So this is a very, very primitive strategy. It's not very sophisticated, but it's how we build a strategy. Now, okay, so let's see what else we can do. Okay, I want to know when the price is creating a new low or a new high. I find that useful information, and so we can create a new set. Okay, and the condition we're going to add is if price close is equal or greater than, I'm sorry, let's start with the bottom. It's less than or equal strategy, I'm sorry, indicator, not strategy, indicator, the DEX DSR, dynamic support and resistance, and our default is 60, and we want to know if it's less than or equal to the lower line of that. All right, okay, so we're going to leave this at lower, and we're not going to plot it on the chart because we already are plotting it on the chart. So I'm going to click OK. So now the default input, which is the price, it's going to take the price from the chart, is less than or equal to the DEX DSR close lower line, and we want it to do something. So I'm going to have it mark that. So I'm going to say drawing, and I'm going to have it put a diamond, okay? And I want it to be a nice blue diamond. Where's our blues? Come on. We'll do it navy in honor of Max. You know, he served in the Navy and was wounded. Anyway, so we're going to have it navy blue, and we're going to set our additional tag, miscellaneous, current bar. Okay. Okay, so we've added the current bar, so again, it'll do it at each time it occurs. And we're going to set our y-axis, where is it going to occur on the chart, based on our indicator. And we want it down, we want it next to, down below the DEX dynamic support and resistance. And we want, again, we want to locate it ticks, and I want to say about -3. And you can change these and play around with it where you want it to occur. So I'm going to say -3. I'm going to click OK. OK. And I'm going to compile it. And it takes a minute or two while the computer does its thing. And we were successfully done. Now, I want to do the opposite. I want to know when is it touching the upper range here. So I'm going to go ahead and create that one as set 4. And again, I'm going to copy the indicator and paste it. Paste and edit. And instead of less than or equal to, I'm going to make it greater than or equal to and leave everything else the same. Okay, so now when our price is defined by the default input, in other words, the price it sees from the chart, is greater than, I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. So this is good. All right, it's greater than, but we want to change that to from lower to upper. We want to place this diamond up here, not down here. So I forgot to change that to upper, okay? And what are we going to do? This time we're going to add, again, a diamond. Diamond, and we're going to make it dark red, whatever color you like. Set, add, set, miscellaneous, current bar, okay, okay, y-axis, we're telling it where to put it. The indicator is the DEX DSR, upper bar, and this time it'll be ticks, but this time we're going to make it +3, and click OK, and OK, and compile. And we wait. All right, strategy successfully generated. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way again. I have another screen over to the right that I'm not showing you. And again, I'm going to click anywhere, any blank space on my chart. I'm going to take my strategies, open strategies. I'm going to remove this strategy. Okay, get rid of it and apply. So it actually takes it off. You saw the arrow disappear. And then we're going to apply the new DEX strategy. And again, it's going to be enabled, and exit on session close should be unchecked, and click OK. And again, it's giving us this warning. It is going to trade. It may make trade. Now, we haven't told it to make any trades. We've just told it to put arrows and diamonds on the chart. That's all we've done. We have not said, let's trade here. All right, so Now look what we have. All right, we can see that the price is making new highs, recent highs right here, and then it is turned down and we have a sell signal, and look at how it went. Whoa, that's money, folks. Um, and along the way, we got a buy signal. You could have closed the position here profitably. It kind of went flat. You know, this is where your stop losses and your trailing stops come in. You may have stayed in all the way down to here. You've seen it make new lows. It's putting diamonds for each new low. It's kind of just a neat kind of little indicator. Okay, so those are how we create indicators, and we'll have another lesson in this to come. I didn't want these to be too long, so I'm going to stop here. We've created some fun indicators. You can do this. You can experiment with it, try it on different things. You know, develop your own ideas. It's an incredibly powerful tool that is available in Ninja 8. So I'm going to stop for now. I'll be making some more of these, and we'll talk about other strategies and what we can do to develop this even further. So this is Thor R with DexTrader.com, and I wish you good trades, and thank you.